Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Ariel Tienko.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we are part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help us all get focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, home with the fam-worthy podcast. Today is Tuesday, the 19th of April, 2022. Hello, friend. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm finally home in Canada with my family, so that's been really nice.
How was the journey to get there? Was it an easy flight, a complicated one?
It was a little bit stressful. I had a very short connection in Lisbon from Amsterdam, and our flight left like 30 minutes later than it was supposed to. So I was just like taking deep breaths and saying it's out of my control. And if I miss my flight, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But luckily, I wasn't the only one who was late. And I was like running through the airport and people were yelling, Toronto or Chicago. Of course, we're all wearing masks. So it was made all that much more difficult to breathe and to hear people. But eventually I make it onto the flight. And yeah, it's just been lovely. Been eating a lot.
So is there anything like in particular delicious about the food? Is there anything your mom cooks that's like your favorite?
Okay, well, my mom used to cook a lot of Filipino classics, but I guess she's just really busy. She has a job now instead of just taking care of us girls at home. And so we just ordered from one of our favorite Filipino places. I'm not sure if you saw my Instagram story from when I arrived a couple days ago.
I didn't.
But she ordered like a feast, a huge tray of lumpia, which is like a Filipino spring roll, and then fresh lumpia, which is the same thing but bigger, and it's not deep fried. And there's something called kare-kare. All my Filipino people out there know what I'm talking about. I had longanisa, just like a lot of traditional dishes, because Filipino restaurants, I mean, they're not that popular, I guess, in Amsterdam. Apparently, they're gaining popularity in London. So I might have to take the train over there when I get homesick for food. My family in general, we are very big eaters.
Right.
And we're not shy about eating way over the limit. We've been having sushi. Oh, and I think there's a story about sushi on today's Optimist Daily. Yeah, and also a lot of desserts. My sister's a great baker, so she made blondies. Then we had cupcakes. I don't know. I'm probably going to head back to Amsterdam a few pounds heavier, but definitely happier.
Just wearing your stretchy yoga pants.
Yeah.
It's fine. But you have also simultaneously been finding time to prioritize working out. Perhaps there's a balance.
Yeah, life is all about balance.
Exactly. Well, I'm in my third week of my yoga practice, and like Easter was delicious. We ate tons of Easter things, and then yesterday was all about like Easter leftovers. So likewise, lots of celebratory eating, but very, very, very grateful that I have found my way to this yoga practice with other human beings all in this beautiful room. I mean, it's just kind of changed my life and my perspective, and I'm now getting to a point where I can manage getting it done in the morning. You know, if my husband's in town and can take, our daughter to school, and I can get the dog walked and get to yoga, it's hard for me to do all three things. If I can do that every morning, it is making my life so much better.
Of course.
So much more optimistic. So I'm strongly encouraging everybody who has like given up on a regular yoga practice to try to find a way back to one.
Yeah, it really is so restorative.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, I'm happy for you. I know you've been wanting this for a while.
I know, I really have. And I have to thank the team. Everybody on the team, by the way, listeners, everybody agreed on the team to record half an hour later so that I could go to this yoga class, which right now doesn't mean it's that late for Ariel. I sort of caught her while she's in Toronto, and then when she gets back to the Netherlands, hopefully she'll still be open to it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem for me.
Okay, so there are some fantastic stories on the Optimist Daily today. It was actually difficult to choose. I know we say that a lot, but today was tricky because there's a few different themes going on. We decided to go with medtech solutions for today's headlines to talk about on the pod. My headline reads, wireless video could make intubation safer. This is one of those products that when you really think about it, it seems like it should have been invented years ago, but it just wasn't. Intubation is a drastic and necessary procedure that medical professionals perform to open patients' airways. While it can be a real lifesaver, intubation is difficult to perform and sometimes the tube can be placed incorrectly. I used to watch so many medical dramas and like the intubation.
General Hospital and stuff.
Well, no, because like on General Hospital, I don't think they ever did intubation. They just like talked about it. But you know, like ER and Chicago Med, I was obsessed with the whole like Chicago series.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do the medical stuff because I get so queasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm more of a rom-com type of person. Keep it light, keep it funny. But anyway.
Well, so a specialized 3D printed device with a small wireless camera attachment could make intubation safer and easier for the medical professionals performing said procedure. Dr. Kenneth Hiller, an anesthesiologist in private practice, describes the current state-of-the-art devices as having limitations. Placing an endotracheal tube can be challenging in a significant number of patients' airways, and for years he had mulled over what he'd like to do to just simplify the process, what device would work. Well, he reached out to an engineering team at Rice University to see if they could build what he had in mind. What was fantastic is he also said, I want you to make something under $500 because I want it to be accessible. I don't want this to be a device that we make once, but then it is not widely used. He wanted a video laryngoscope that not only had a wireless video, but also had a better blade profile. Victoria Kong of the engineering team from Rice University is quoted as saying, there are two main types of laryngoscopes, straight blades and those with curved blades, and all of the video on the market are in the current curved blade format. That's great for compressing the tongue to get it out of the way so you can look around. It actually takes up a lot of space. It has a very high displacement volume. That made it difficult for a physician to use the laryngoscope to then also insert the endotracheal tube. There was just too much going on to use that video to move the tongue away to then insert the tube. So they said, let's create a straight bladed tube that itself has a wireless camera. They really figured out a way to also simplify it because the wireless camera that is then communicating with a tablet allows a doctor, even in a remote location, to potentially be offering advice or suggestions about what it is that they're seeing. And the cool thing about this is it also has an LED light near the camera, so the user can control with a switch and improve their visibility, whether they need it brighter or darker. And it costs about $200.
Oh, wow.
Less than half of what Dr. Hiller wanted from the beginning. Other wired devices with wires attached to them means that you can't just move the scope from room to room. You can't throw it onto an ambulance. You can't use it in the field. This is potentially a field-worthy piece of technology that could save lives, not only in operating rooms, but also when intubation is required in emergency situations, both by EMTs as well as military medics who might not have the required experience and can use this to save lives. I love these kinds of things. I love mobile devices that move into medical technology and the simplification. And when you really think about it, this is a device that could have been made, but it just wasn't until a doctor finally said to a team of young engineering students, hey, let's do this. They 3D printed it. In the future, it might be made of stainless steel construction to increase durability. There are other options, but 3D printers, engineering students, and doctors come together and make the world a better place. So that is my story today.
Wow, that was really informative. Okay, well, I'm also on the medtech beat. Mine is about kidney stones. I've never had them, but I'm terrified of getting them. And so my headline reads, Mice aboard the ISS show why astronauts get kidney stones. Okay, as we know, humans are terrestrial creatures. We've adapted and evolved to the environments of Earth. So that means once we, get out onto the final frontier, our bodies might suffer a bit more. There are a lot of things that we have to consider, a lot of things that might get complicated for us. But one of the ones that I hadn't thought about before was developing kidney stones during space travel, because apparently it's just more common.
That is just awful.
I know. So researchers are looking at mice in space, and that's kind of giving them clues as to why astronauts are developing more kidney stones than usual. So NASA reported that more than 30 astronauts have had kidney stones on return to Earth, and one astronaut in orbit even almost had to cut their mission short because the pain was just so bad. Could you imagine just being stuck up there in space, passing kidney stones? It just sounds terrible. So that begs the question, why are kidney stones so common in space? Apparently, spending time in reduced gravity is linked to a decrease in bone density. So one theory is that the lost bone calcium gets into the blood, and then this could be the cause of astronauts' kidney stones. Looking at the mice in the ISS, it appears that cosmic radiation could also play a big role. There's evidence that shows that cosmic radiation and gamma radiation, as well as high energy particles, cause damage to the DNA in the kidney of the space mice. We owe a lot of our health to mice. Thanks. Shout out to the mice out there. The mice's kidneys also had low levels of transportation of sodium, calcium, and phosphate ions, and their kidneys' cells, mitochondria, the energy producer of cells, were also damaged, and that is critical for producing energy for the kidneys to function. This is just preliminary research. There's still a lot more research that has to happen, but these findings show the issues that doctors and astronauts need to address for improving the health of our space explorers.
Now, I wonder if there's like some gamma radiation or cosmic radiation prevention tools that, or if it's something that they can take or wear, or, I mean, they're in the cosmos, so they're going to have radiation, but that's interesting. Certainly the calcification and the release of calcium into the bloodstream makes really good sense that would be part of it, but then having it be compounded by cosmic radiation.
Yeah.
I'm really fascinated. Like, I love the learning on this one, but I cannot wait. Maybe we should call those kids at Rice and see if they want to come up with a solution.
They're on a roll.
Yeah, they're on a roll. They've got the intubation settled. But this is fascinating. Kidney stones are super not fun. Listeners of the pod may remember, like, the end of last year when I was down for the count with a few, but I will admit, and fortunately, we don't ever anticipate having sponsors in the cruise line industry, but like, I am sort of terrified of ever being on a boat with kidney stones.
Oh.
And I have a family member who went on a cruise and got quarantined and stuck for 21 days with COVID on a boat and had to stay in her room on the boat. And so I've always sort of never wanted to take a cruise because I was like, what if you get sick and then you're stuck in your room? But this seems like the ultimate worst version of getting stuck on a cruise.
Just up here in space.
Up here in space with my kidney stones. Oh, anyway, great story. Thank you, mice, for taking one for the team. We've got some other fun stories. Okay. Attention, eco-minded parents. These baby shoes are 100% dissolvable. I love this story because, as we all know, kids' shoes, you go through them so fast. Dissolvable baby shoes is probably a really good thing because there's no way to like not have fast fashion when it comes to baby shoes. They just grow through them too fast. Another powerful story, which is how to talk to your kids about the war in Ukraine. Read Tree PC, reinvigorating the community and the canopy in Panama City. And 4 strategies for clearing up the bad energy out of your relationship. What else?
Want more nesting birds in your garden this spring? Follow these 5 tips. This is the story that I referenced earlier. How healthy is sushi? Gonna have to read it to see how unhealthy I was this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good one to follow up with on how healthy is garlic and onions, which I think ran yesterday on the Optimist Daily.
Yeah. Brown bear population in the Pyrenees makes a very impressive comeback. And 10 ways to spruce up your garden this spring. All of that and more is available on theoptimistdaily.com. We promise to continue to share positive, solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We also promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
If you haven't already, guys, it is the end of the month. It's the end of April. I need to hustle. I need some more emissary members. I got to make my numbers. We got to keep people supported here. Keep our writers writing and our technologists technologying. Thank you, everybody who is already an emissary member of the Optimist Daily. If you have not, consider joining for as little as $5 a month. Head on over to optimistdaily.com and help us keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Thanks, everybody, and we'll be back tomorrow with more solutions.